my fellow human beings, and welcome to episode 75 of The Best Blessed Life. I'm your best host, Kristen, and today's topic is... What? Blonde versus brunette again? Who has more fun, part 2? I can't believe I'm going to do this to myself again, but I'm going to retry to make the two recipes I tried to make last week. The difference being I put part 2 because I'm actually going to do it in 2 parts and just mash them together. The difference being I'm going to do the positive words from the week in the second half only because it will be the completed week. And then we're going to talk about do you learn and grow as our little spiel while I'm here making a mess. And then, so it's dessert versus dessert again. It feels a little awkward because I'm not quite starting the way I normally do. But the difference this time is I'm kind of following a different recipe. I'm kind of following this recipe. So bear with me while I explain what I'm doing. So this is 1 cup of Greek yogurt, and this is replacing our 4 large eggs. I'm also using 1 cup of that sugarcane Moreno sugar, and I'm also using a cup of brown packed. Then comes, and this one recipe called for a full cup of coconut oil melted. And you know I said, not doing that again. So I reduced it to a half a cup, and I'm leaving it solid, but it's pretty melted. I leave it out, so. I'm doing the 1 tablespoon of vanilla like last week, and then they have an order that they want us to do the dry. So in here is 1 1/4 cups of cocoa powder, and I also added the 1 teaspoon of instant coffee that we used in last week's recipe. This week I am not using coconut flour. I don't know what I'm doing to myself, but I am using a half cup of oat flour. Now this recipe only called for a half a cup of either regular flour or gluten-free all-purpose flour. I'm going to give this a try. If it still seems a little moist, I might go to a little bit of coconut oil in that. And then this is 1 teaspoon of salt. Now they said you could either do this in a mixer or you can do it by hand. The difference is going to be that we're not whipping our eggs to light and fluffy because we really can't. This isn't going to whip up. That's the one thing I did want to do is grab a whisk. Because I did want to, make sure, that maybe I could at least get it a little bit so that it's not separated. The talking isn't going any better, as you can tell. Okay. So, there we go. That was our 1 cup of Greek yogurt, although that doesn't look like a cup to me. But I know I measured it. Let me grab my whisk here real quick. If I can find it. There's the whisk. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just try and lighten it up a little bit. The other things I want to try are making Greek yogurt whipped cream. I've read things. I don't know if it works. I knew that was going to fall over. So I'm just going to I'm trying to get in my arm exercises for the day. Can you tell? So I'm just trying to distribute some of the liquid that kind of settled while we were waiting to start the episode. Okay. Then we add our sugars. And this is our 1 cup. Man, that seems like so much sugar. And that was our 1 cup of Moreno sugar, and this is our 1 cup of brown. Okay. Now I think I'm going to switch. I mean, you just put those 3 flavors together, and you got the smells of baking going on. Brown sugar always hits my nose, and it gives me good thoughts of baking. So we're supposed to cream these two things together. We'll see what happens. I might have to. Alright, no, we're doing pretty good here. Ooh! Got a little splashy there. This is where I think I might need the extra little bit of flour because of the Greek yogurt. Kind of makes it a little puddly. Okay, and then we add, they say melted. Remember it said melted, but I'm not brave enough after last week to try melted. So we're just going to try really mushy coconut oil and see what happens. We're going to get that mixed in there really well. Right. Again, we're just using one bowl. This time I'm doing it in the right order and in the right bowl and all that good fun stuff. This one actually called for a 9x9-inch pan, but we're still going to try the little muffin tin here. I don't think it was the muffin tin's fault, but yeah, I know, I'm getting ballsy in my old age. So let's try mixing with our other arm so we're at least getting a good amount of exercise on both arms. We've got some chunks of oil in here still. Now remember, I have reduced this oil by half, hoping that it will make the biggest difference. Okay. I just want to make sure I don't have any big chunks. I do see some big chunks. Let me see if I can get it whisked in there a little better. Why they have you do it in this order specifically, I'm not really sure. Okay, so let's get this all incorporated. While we're doing that, let's add this tablespoon of vanilla. I would just stop right here myself, but okay. And then next we have to do our cocoa and flour and such. But let me make sure I'm scraping down the sides. I'm still very nervous. This still is not setting well with me. And I'm trying so hard because I love coconut oil and coconut flour so much, but we're gonna give the oat flour a bit of a try. It is also gluten-free. They're not always, so make sure you find one if you do need the gluten-free, that you're getting a gluten-free one. Okay, I probably should sift this, I'm guessing. Didn't say to, but it will help work out a lot of those. I'm trying to remember which way you did it last week that worked out so well. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna sift in our cocoa. Only because cocoa tends to get those hard nuggets. And that also had our teaspoon of, drawing a complete blank. Our teaspoon of, oh boy, instant coffee. I should have got my whisk out. Alright, whisk. I still want to keep you, but I didn't save myself and I don't have any paper plates. Okay, so like I said, there's usually a lot of hard nuggets in cocoa, so you at least want to make sure you get those out, or if you have one of those sifter thingies. I used to have one, but it broke. I figured this can't break. Come on, see all them hard nuggets? Well, that's also some of the coffee parts too, so. Okay. I'm going to save that because I think I'm going to use it for when I put the flour in as well. I'm trying not to get this directly on my counter, but you know, it's not working today for some. There we go. All right, so now we're going to kind of gently, because this can be pretty dusty, so don't try and, you know, stir it too quickly because you will end up with a face full of cocoa. Okay, come on. It's weird because it's like oil and water right now, literally, because I don't mean literally, because they're seriously not working well together. They're like not combining. I guess I should have done it a little bit at a time. I think that was my bad again. It just tells you how to, I mean, just tells you what order to put them in. It doesn't tell you how to put them in. Let's see if I can whisk it through. I just need it to break the surface a little bit. Okay, just set that there. Look at this. I didn't even listen to myself. See? Now I gotta wipe that up because you know my dog will come and try and lick it off the floor. Well, so far, I'm not sure. I feel like I started where I left off. Let me make sure I don't have any on my shoe because he will literally lick anything. I'm still here. Bear with me, guys. Okay. Okay. Luckily, that wasn't too much. Maybe a teaspoon. All right. Try and be more gentle. Wow. Talk about chocolate. These are supposed to be some pretty fudgy ones too, according to the... Oh, the difference too is we're preheated at 300. I don't know if you could see that far away, but instead of 350 from last week. And she said it's better to pull them early than it is to let them get hard. So underdone is better than overdone. I agree. Who doesn't love a good doughy brownie? Personally, I love them, but all right, now that we have this under control, let's see if we can let's taste it first, because here's the thing though, are we going to know that there's not enough oil? My hand is covered in cocoa. Oh my goodness, okay. Yeah, that's the only dilemma I'm going to have, is how do you know you don't have enough? Is it not moist enough? Is it too dense? Is it too... will you notice a lack of something, I guess is the better question. Maybe these are things I should Google before I start these. All right, and then we're doing our 1/2 cup of oat flour. And I'm going to do this a little bit at a time because, yeah. Although, where do I put the strainer while I stir? Okay. Deep breaths, everyone. Deep breaths. So I'm going to just do that. Let's get these out of the way. Alright, so let's stir in a little bit of our oat flour. They say don't overmix, they said. which I get, but I also don't know how much is overmixed, you know? When is too much? I don't know. If you're ever a first-time baker, I don't know how you would look at a recipe and know exactly what it means, like, every time. To me, I'm lucky I had some previous baking experience, I guess you'd say, where I made a lot of mistakes. So the recipes don't intimidate me as much as they used to, I guess is what I'm saying. So I guess that could lead me to how we grow, right? Learn and grow. So can you tell? I am a person that is a hands-on learner, and I grow from my mistakes. Because I almost feel I have to make them in order to understand what happens in the process, in order to, like, truly call it a mistake. So, I don't know if that helps you any. So, in your everyday life, we talk about challenges, what challenges you? Do you take those challenges as a way to grow? Because I do. I don't know if I'm just wondering if that's the norm. Am I normal? Everybody asks that question, right? Are we normal? Okay, and then we'll dump this little bit that came out. Okay, so we're done with that. But I feel like learning from failure gives you more insight because it's you that is learning the technique or the behavior or the instrument or the skill or the task, whatever it is, however you want to look at it. What is it that is making you, like, what makes it click? What makes it say, oh, damn, that, you kidding me? So that's what you mean by this or that or the other thing. I don't know. That's just me. I've always been a tactile person. I've always had to see how the sausage was made, even if I didn't want to, you know? All right, let's get this salt in here. That was a teaspoon. That's my fancy technique. Okay, let's get. I don't know why they want you to add that last. I feel it's a little weird, but how does it get more evenly distributed that way? When I could have easily, like, you know. Okay, I'm gonna try it again. I'm trying to think of what it's missing. I don't know if it is a little bit more salt. Let's give it the old college try. Just maybe a pinch. Because I was going to say coffee. Coffee needs, I said it again. Chocolate needs salt. It needs coffee. Needs vanilla. Okay, let me try this again. Try not to put my. It's weird. There's a sourness that I'm not sure. I'm trying to figure out where it's coming from. And I don't believe it's from the Greek yogurt because I've tasted those two things together. I'm thinking it might need a little bit more sweetness myself, but I'm gonna make a bigger mess, I guess. Let's see. There's a bitterness. This is a dilemma. Because I'm trying to figure out, there's a bitterness I'm getting and there's also a sour. And it almost feels like they have you using too much cocoa for the amount of sugar and flour. Granted, I did add a teaspoon of, of coffee. I'm gonna, oh my gosh. So I'm gonna put a little bit of these in here. Maybe half. So it's not very many. Just enough to add a little bit of chunks of chocolate in there. I like the texture. It's good texture. It's nice and thick. Let's try. Yeah, it has a really, I think that's my main, I kind of remember finger. My main thing about it is such a rich, because we use so much cocoa powder. I'm wondering if we want to add something sugary, but not, maybe I'll do a little squirt of honey, a little Michigan beer. Let's do, couple teaspoons maybe. Again, we're not trying to over mix it. Just trying to get to the source of that kind of bitter note. I'm trying to grab more from the middle here. I don't know. It seems like it has a lot of cocoa. And I think that's where the bitter and the sour seem to be coming from. I don't want to mess it up. I'm wondering if a little bit more vanilla would help. I know that seems like a lot, but like I said, I feel like we add a lot of cocoa powder. This is what happens, like, and this is kind of what you learn. I don't know if any of y'all watch, like, cooking shows and things. I don't like so much the competitions. I mean, they're okay, but I like to watch people work through, like, some dilemmas more than I like. That helped a little bit. All right. I think we're gonna cook up just a couple, because I don't want to do like I did last time and ruin a whole bunch. So let's just do 4. I forgot to see how long you're supposed to cook these for. I don't want to burn the other papers. I don't know why I didn't wait to load these up. But I want to make sure there's enough oil in there, and that could be why it's kind of bitter. I don't know. I'm not using butter, but again, this is a coconut oil recipe. So I wouldn't be using any butter. Of course, inactivity. No. Give me a second. Okay. Oh, good. It's gone. Oh, here we go. All right. Oh. Now it says cook at 300 for 40 to 45 minutes. But we know, because I'm not using that same pan that we don't need to cook it for quite as long. I like that they don't look so glossy. Oh my gosh, the puddles of oil that came up while we were cooking was just a nightmare. Okay. Get in there. So these are going to take a little smidge, I guess. Come on out. It's a little bit different dough too. It's not so stiff. I mean, it's stiff, but it's not, I don't know how to describe it. You can see what's happening as I'm trying to pour it in here. And then I also want to see what the reaction is to oh my goodness. Like how they come out of the paper, because the last ones I made don't come out of the paper. And if they're not coming out of the paper, do we have to spray the paper? Alright guys, well, we're going to take our first quick break. I'm going to get working on the baking of these 4 little gems. We're going to keep an eye on them. They're at least going to go, I would say, at least 15 minutes. Fingers crossed I don't come into a pile of oil. Alright guys, going in. I'm setting it for 15 minutes. And I'm going to get cleaned up and I'll see y'all in a little bit. Come right back. It's got to be better, right? Alright guys, we got about 5 minutes left. So what I did was I checked them at the 15-minute point. They were still way too doughy. I added an additional 10 minutes, so now we're at 25 minutes. And I would say the centers are still kind of, they're on the verge of being fine and then being like just done. And I know a lot of people like a gooier brownie. So I set it for 5 minutes, but I'm just going to keep an eye on it because as soon as I see the centers are starting to fall, which they said could happen. So I'm not really worried about that. And I tasted the flavor of them, and they're pretty good, and they're not oily. So I think cutting the oil on my part for my needs and what I'm showing you worked out to be better than using that whole cup of coconut oil melted. I didn't need to melt it. I think it came together a lot quicker because I didn't melt it. Otherwise, I'd be like chasing that oil around the bowl. You know how that goes. So, I had oven mitts out. Apparently not. All right. So, yeah. All right. So I would say 27 minutes is probably good. We got a nice looking brownie there. I'm going to let the pan cool for a minute while I talk to y'all about how we learn and grow. I know I started a little bit. And this one I poked is the one that kind of sunk the most. So I think the rest of them have a nice edge, set edge. The center is set, but I could tell it probably has a little bit of doughiness to it. So, I'm so excited. I hope this really works out. Because the nice thing about it is I got to cut the oil in half if this little experiment works, which so far, fingers crossed. So yeah, I'm still in the process of trying to teach myself things because, as I was saying earlier, I'm a tactile learner. I need to hold things. I need to write things. I need to see them visually. I need to work it, so to speak, whatever it was. Like for personal training, all of the knowledge I got was online and through videos. So hands-on experience teaching someone how to do it not only helped me to teach it correctly, like speak it correctly, so that people could understand what I meant. Because a lot of times if you refer to the actual scientific name for a muscle, no client really cares. I mean, some might. Like doctors might. I don't know. I felt it more fun to keep it light and not use so much of the heavy terminology unless I was asked about it. But teaching someone else also taught me not only how to teach it, like I was saying, but also how to do the movements correctly and show a client what a particular movement looks like. Because a lot of times when we're working through an exercise, people cannot hear what you're showing them, if that makes sense. If the words coming out of your mouth aren't what you're actually demonstrating, a lot of times it can be very confusing. Like that whole statement just before here. So learning and growing for me is hands-on experience and then showing someone else how to do it so that they do it correctly. And then it gets passed down. So I guess in essence, I like to be the teacher. So therefore, that's why I became a personal trainer. Yada, 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 that kind of thing. So going forward, and in year 3, coming up shortly, end of August, so like a month from now, we're going to turn off the timer. I want to start working on that a little bit more. I know I talked to you about challenges, and I'm going to continue to challenge you to aim towards a goal. So we're in a frame of mind to forage through anything. You know what I mean? Like when I'm laser focused on something, I can't get sidetracked per se. I mean, yes, I need breaks, and those are not sidetracks for me. But I do not need to focus on more than one thing at a time, but I do like to multitask. So figure that one out for yourself. So you know I'm going to taste test the one that sunk in the middle. Oh, they might still be a little too doughy. This one cooked up over the side of the paper. Okay. I think we might have to let them set a little more. Oh yeah. Okay, so I'm happy with the flavor profile. I don't know. The center might still be, it felt set, but it might still be just a little too doughy. So, yeah. All right, so we're going to do that the rest of that 5 minutes. So I think it was 3, almost 4. Yeah. That's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to turn the pan around. I know that probably doesn't make any sense to anyone. Okay. But we're going to give it like 3.5 minutes. We'll split. And that'll probably be the end of part 1 for today. And then I'll just continue it on tomorrow. I'll make the rest of the brownies off camera. And these are going to get sent out to, I'm thinking potentially 3 different locations. If this batter works, I will have to make more. But, so I want to get everybody's opinion on that. And then tomorrow, I say tomorrow, but the second half of this episode is going to be about the positive words from the week. And then we're also going to go over the blondie recipe, and hopefully I can kind of get that figured out. Because the taste was there. The flavor profile was there, even though I didn't brown the butter. I have a thought in my head as to how to get a brown or toasted flavor. But I won't give that away till tomorrow because I'm still going to need stuff to talk about. But I think that's it for today. You saw what happened. They taste really good. They have a good flavor. They have a good texture. I think it's going to work out really well. And I wish I would have doubled it, but I also I know I need to go buy brown sugar and more cocoa. And I think something else. I know I'm missing something else. And that was specifically in this recipe. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to put you on hold till tomorrow. And I will give you a finished product on the brownies in the beginning of the episode as well. So hang in there. It's going to get better. Hopefully. See you tomorrow. All right, so you ready for part 2? You believe it's been like 24 hours later? I slept, but I'm not sure if I feel like I slept. Anyway, the results of the brownies are not amazing. I did learn not to use the papers, and it just became a big pile of brownie parts. They're delicious. They're very, 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 very moist. I love them to pieces. So, if I can find some that'll stay together like this one seems to do, and maybe they will now that they've cooled for a whole day, because they were really, really like super gooey. And once I tried to take the paper off, it was a major disaster. So let me see if I'll be able to put them in a new piece of paper and send them off that way. There's nothing wrong with them. They taste amazing. I think the ratios were good. It probably could use a little bit more oil, only because it was sticking. And it might have prevented that from sticking. Sorry, I got water everywhere. Okay, now because we started yesterday, technically, and I didn't have the positive word for today for yesterday, so I thought I would do the positive words really quick. And then we're going to do the blondie portion of the recipe. And I think I've figured out some things. So we're going to start with Friday, the 22nd, and it is LIKHA, L-I-K-H-A, to create something through intelligence and skill. Saturday, the 23rd, is Feth. I think it's pronounced Feth, or it could be Feeth, F-E-A-T-H. The state of being calm, peacefulness, absence of worry, anger, fear, or other strong negative emotion. Absence of noise and disturbance. The 24th was exonerate, to be free of the weight of your burden. Monday the 25th is Sophrosyne, S-O-P-H-R-O-S-Y-N-E, a healthy state of mind characterized by self-control, moderation, and a deep awareness of one's true self, and resulting in true happiness. Man, these words mean such great things. Tuesday the 26th was Singulomania, a strong desire to hold a person in your arms. I always want to say hug for some reason. Wednesday was Yata, spelled Y-A-T-T-A, and it is the state of joy after you accomplish a task. So hopefully I will have Yata when we're done with this whole business. And today, Thursday, the 28th, my mother-in-law's birthday. Happy birthday, Goomba. We love you so much. And it is C-A-I-M, and I'm picturing the pronunciation in my head, but it's not coming to me. Kayam, I think is pronounced. Kayam. An invisible circle of protection drawn around the body with the hand to remind one of being safe and loved, even in the darkest times. So, I thought those words were really profound this week, and I loved them to pieces, and I hope I'm not ruining mine. All right. So, the dilemma last week was, and here's our blondie recipe. I'm just going to hold it up real quick. This is the basic gist. And I'm going to hold it there long enough so if you want to screenshot it or something, you can. Okay. Now, our dilemma was I was using coconut oil in place of butter, which would not brown. And I've read thoroughly that I feel like my head's being chopped off today for some reason. I'm going to put you on hold for just 1 second here. Okay. For some reason, every time I put you on hold, it's never putting you on hold. Luckily, it did yesterday, so we can continue from yesterday. Okay. So we're going to try and do this as quickly as possible because last episode ran way too long. So what I did, because you cannot brown something that only has essentially the plant, whatever the plant may be, like coconut, and water, or whatever they use to emulsify and make the coconut oil. They do have coconut butter, which would work, is what I read, which I did not have. So in order to get a browned state, and I reduced the oil from a full cup, which seemed ridiculous even at the time, to a half a cup. And yes, I know that seems dramatic, but it needed to be done. And then I added 3 tablespoons of regular butter. And then what happened was I got a nice browning on the butter, which is kind of intermingled with the coconut oil. And I'm getting the same brown butter smell. I just needed a little dose of it. Probably didn't even need 3 tablespoons, but that's what I did. Okay, in this pan here, or bowl, sorry, I have my 1 cup of what I've switched from regular sugar. Sorry, it's not 1 cup. It's a half a cup. I hope that's what I did. A half a cup of regular sugar, and I use Merino sugar. And then it was 2 cups of packed brown sugar. And then what we want to do is we're going to add this brown butter to that. But I want to finish. The other thing that I did was I increased the amount of flour to a half a cup instead of a quarter. So I brought down the oil and I brought up the flour. So hopefully those two will kind of gel each other out. In addition to browning what I could of the coconut oil per se, I also toasted my coconut flour. And this is the first time I've ever done it. And it came out to this kind of yellowy, I don't know if you can even see it, that light is so bright, yellowy color. And it smells really amazing. It almost reminds me of graham crackers. And graham cracker flour, I believe, is not gluten-free. Maybe some are. But, and this also has our 1.5 teaspoons of salt, our 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. Baking powder. Okay? That's all our dry. And then we're still continuing with the 3/4 of a cup for the eggs. So that is 1/4 of a cup of Greek yogurt per egg. So that's where we got 3/4 cup from. Mouth still ain't working. This is 2.5 teaspoons of vanilla. And then, of course, we got our 1 cup of toffee pieces. Now, Heath does make the toffee pieces with the chocolate and without. And, of course, I didn't have the ones without. This recipe calls for those, but I've made it with both. It doesn't really matter, okay? It just adds a little bit of chocolate if you're a chocolate lover, which most of the people I know are. So we're going to go with that. The first thing we want to do is we're going to combine our 2 sugars and our brown butter. And our brown butter has been cooling for quite a while, even though the pan still feels nice anymore. Okay, so I'm going to throw this in here. I want to make sure all the brown bits are off the bottom, and I pray to God. This is... if these aren't the right ratios anymore, I guess I go back to making it unhealthy because they're just so popular. I want to get all that brownness, the good bits. That's what we really want out of this, is the good toasty bits. And usually I toast it longer, but I was a little afraid that it was actually going to start burning because of the oil cooking in and of itself. Okay, I need this back. Then what we're going to do is we're going to blend these up just till they're combined. Now, Martha Stewart recommends you use a wooden spoon. I'm not sure why, because we're just bringing these 2 things together. 3 things, sorry. And again, I got that same kind of caramelized brown sugar happening on the side here, which I will, and maybe that's why she says to mix it with a wooden spoon, so that it doesn't kind of coagulate to the sides, I think is the gist of it. Alright, now if I remember correctly, let me blend this a little more. It's still scary how oily it is. Let me just give it a good whip. Okay. Now yesterday we used oat flour, but we stuck with coconut flour for this guy because I just love coconut flour. Okay. Got that. Okay, now in mixer add eggs one at a time using the paddle. Okay. I gotta stir up my eggs here for a second because they got a little separated while they were waiting for me. So let's get those all recombined. And I'm just gonna guesstimate, like, lift this up. I'm gonna plop. What appears to be about an egg's worth of Greek yogurt. Blend that up. And then once we get these all combined, we're going to actually mix it on high for 3 minutes. I'm probably going to pause you for those 3 minutes because it's just too hard to talk. Okay, and you're mixing those just till combined. I'm still nervous, you guys. I'm still very, 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 very nervous. Okay, get that in there. Okay. That's egg number 2. I like how dark it is, though. I gotta get the sugar scraped off the sides. It's got a nice color to it, very much so. Not quite as white as it was the other day. So, I think I will try and look for coconut butter. It sounds like the way to go. Some people add like milk, but I was really going off my non-dairy kind of protocol to begin with. I want to just get that mixed in here so I can add. Whoa! I'm dripping. I'm dripping. Alright, then we're going to get this last one in here. Our last egg. You know, it's flicking everywhere. It's flying everywhere. Okay. Maybe this is just a recipe that doesn't work with healthy substitutions. If that's the case, then I will cry. Alright, we'll get that mixed together, and then I'm going to put you on pause for about 3 minutes. So we can get it all nice, light, and fluffy. Alright, I'm going to pause you, and I'll be back in a few minutes. Wish me luck. Alright guys, so we beat it for 3 minutes. I'm not exactly as excited as I was last week when we were in this position, but then last week didn't really work out, so I'm hoping this is just, it's not very fluffy. It's very liquidy, but I'm hoping it's because I'm using oil instead of butter and yogurt instead of eggs. So what I'm going to do, and I did add an egg last week, which I'm still going to try and avoid as much as possible. If anything, I would probably add a little more Greek yogurt just to see if that helps thicken it out, which I do believe it helped last time. So the next thing we want to add is our vanilla. I'm going to stick with what I got until I see what happens after we add the flour. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to mix this up just to combine. It's a beautiful color. It smells almost exactly the same. Now, if I had the texture that I wanted, we'd be all set. I'm going to go with the theory that coconut flour is more absorbent. So remember, this is a half cup now. And then it also whisked in here is the baking powder. I almost said baby powder. Baking powder and salt. We just do this a little at a time, seeing if we need to, you know, add anything as we go. Now when I toasted this, I just toasted it in a dry saute pan, and it went really super fast. I had to turn the temperature down, but it wasn't just that. At some point, it just started to like cook. You know, like when you're cooking rice aroni and the vermicelli noodles get burnt really quick. I'm not opposed to adding a little more flour either, but I want to see how well this little concoction melds. It is way runnier than I'm used to. Way runnier. The smells are amazing. I'm not seeing that oily graininess that I was seeing last week. I don't think. I'm gonna double check in a second. I'm gonna put my glasses on. Like, you're saying all this stuff and it can totally not be true. Let's see. Oh yeah, it's way better looking. Way better looking. But I got a lot more stuff on the bottom, I feel like. That isn't getting... Take this down for a second. I feel like there's so much of the brown sugar stuff that is sticking to the bottom. And this could be why Martha said to stir with a wooden spoon so that the paddle doesn't embed the stuff in the bottom of your pan. Bowl, what have you. Okay. Pretty nice color, I have to say. Yeah. I'm very happy with the color. Okay. Let's see if we can get, don't make a mess. Okay. I always want, what is happening? There we go. I always want to turn it the wrong way. Alright, here's the last of the dried goods. And we'll see how this turns out. Okay, that didn't give us much thickness at all. Which says to me we're not getting enough dry goods in here. That's what it says to me. Okay. Let's taste it. I'm gonna taste it over here. Very sweet. Could use a little more salt. I think we're gonna do the dry ingredients again. See if we can get it a little lighter by doing it now. It smells just like it does. It's crazy. Yeah, it's still so loose. Okay, so I'm gonna step away again. I'm gonna get some more dry ingredients together and I'll be back with you guys. Fingers crossed. I thought I had it. I don't get it. Deep breaths. I'll be back. Alright guys, I'm back. I've toasted up some more flour. Got the salt and the baking powder coming to a nice brown. That's all I did was put it in a pan and brown it. And it took it from basically a whitish cream color to this dark tan color. And I'm going to monitor how much I actually need. This, I halved what I used to begin with. So if I used a half a cup, I switched it to a quarter. Although this coconut flour looks like more than that. And then I needed half of 1.5 teaspoons of both the baking powder and the salt. So 2/3. That works. Ooh, that got hot. Wow. Okay, luckily we're not using it. Oh, and I also, sorry, I left this out to remind myself. I also added 2 more tablespoons of our egg substitute, which is our Greek yogurt, and that is also half of our allotted. So it's like we used an egg and a half. And that I already put in there. I think it's given us some of the stability that we needed. Let's see if we're a little bit more. Yeah, we're a little thicker. We're still runny. This is the type of like chocolate chip cookie dough batter you need, you know, where it's like thick. And so we're going to hopefully be able to add this flour combo here. I think I just did half of what I did. Woo! Super runny. So basically I've doubled almost everything but the oil. And I've lowered the oil by like, I don't remember, I mean, we were supposed to use a cup and I used a half a cup. And I used 3 tablespoons of butter, just so we could get that browning on there. Okay. Whew. I'm getting it everywhere. Everywhere. It's making me sweat. So nervous. I want them to work out. They're supposed to go to people. Okay, we're getting the lightness that we were getting before. I'm gonna blend it for a second here. Give me a minute. Oh yeah, we're definitely getting the lightness that we weren't getting before. So I'm not sure which worked better, the adding the extra egg, as they say to when you're using coconut flour. But the flour wasn't really our problem. Yeah, we're getting some good density now. It's still very drippy though. I'm not quite sure where the texture is coming from. You know? Really just don't know. Alright, I don't really know where I left off here. Had a phone call I had to take. Let's see. Well, you know, if you leave it alone for a little, maybe it does something, you know? I said that last time and then I got all excited for nothing. Let me tell you, last week's were, I thought, a devil of a time. They actually tasted pretty decent, so. And the texture wasn't that off. They were just very, very crumbly. Like, they wouldn't hold together. So, I just got off the phone with Jordan and I was telling him my dilemma and how I was trying to make my blondies healthier, Martha's blondies healthier. And Jordan just said maybe they're not meant to be healthy. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to hear that, but maybe it's true. Maybe it's true. I don't want to give in just yet. Okay, doggy, you're going to get caught. Go the other way, baby. Go that way, yeah, go that way. He's looking at me like, what are you doing, lady? I just don't want you to get choked by the cord, man. Don't do this to me now. No, go lay down. Come on. I think we're finally getting somewhere. Alright guys, I just tried it. The dilemma is real. I keep adding stuff and I mean it's thickening, but it's weird how the more I add dry ingredients, I can't even get it all, the more the sugar becomes pronounced. It's no sense whatsoever. Jordan just might be right. Come on, guys, I'm trying to make things healthier for everyone. I'm not saying healthy, but healthier would be nice. I just don't comprehend the texture. It's like no matter how much liquid I've added, it doesn't. Now that bit was salty. Alright. I gotta figure out one more thing. Well, I can't begin to tell you how many things I've tried. There's about, I don't know, 6 tablespoons of cornstarch, 2 more tablespoons of, I used some oat flour, and then I did another 2 tablespoons of Greek yogurt, and the texture is about the same. So I'm gonna wing it. We're gonna go for it. The thing I did different this time is we're using the mini pans still. I'm not using papers though. We're just gonna put it in a sprayed pan. And we're gonna add our toffee now, so if there was anything else I could have thought of, I even added a little more salt. It's just the weirdest texture. It's almost more like a cake than it is a blondie. Oh my goodness, what a day we've had. I mean, this is not even right. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Maybe I'm more worried about the coconut oil when I should be worried more about, I'm whipping it everywhere. I got it on my toe. That's how fluid this stuff is. I've got enough stuff in here for it to set. Can't describe the flavor. Just like yesterday, I was having the same problem with the flavor of the brownie. It was so, maybe it's just me. Maybe my taster's off. I mean, I did have COVID, so I guess it was a little while ago, but maybe that's messing up my taste buds. I don't know. So what I'm gonna do, so I'm going to pour this stuff in here and hope for the best. I mean, we're getting a little bit of, I just can't get over the runniness. So that's what we're doing. We're filling them up. And, based on the original recipe that calls for them to be baked 35 to 40 minutes, I think we're going to get pretty close to that time, because that's how much, I'm getting it everywhere. I think I have it on my neck. So I think I only had to reduce the time for the brownies by like 5 minutes maybe. So I cooked them for like 30, 35 minutes, I think. And they could have gone longer, but they're a little they're moist for sure. And they have great flavor. I'm just worried that they won't stay together for their trip. So I'm thinking I'm going to make them into like the Oreo truffles I've been talking about that were just such a great hit. So I'm thinking about doing that. Oh, I did save some leftover brownie dough because it's my mother-in-law's birthday. I figured if these turned out at all, I would somehow try and make her a combo of the two. I showed you guys that last week on my posts, that I got fed up at the end and just made one gigantic Frankenstein, like Sophia likes to say, but I mixed the two batters together and I kind of swirled them in and out. It didn't turn out, I mean, the flavor is good, but again, it's so crumbly. I mean, I'm just not, maybe you can't use coconut flour and Greek yogurt together? I don't know. I really feel like it's hard to believe that it's just that I'm trying to make it healthier. We'll see. But I talked to you guys yesterday, I say yesterday, but in part one, about, do you feel like you learn and grow? And I guess the next part of that is going to be like, what gets you there? Don't you set goals to help you achieve things like that? So I guess I really think it's time we sat down and thought about what we're really aiming to do. What's our ultimate end result? Because we want to achieve great things, but we're not going to do it if we don't pinpoint what it is that we're looking to accomplish. And that's kind of where I am right now. Like, it's like shit or get off the pot kind of deal, you know? I've been saying that to everybody for a long time, and I frankly just wait for somebody to say it to me, but I'm going to say it to myself because I'm responsible for me, and everybody's got goals in mind. Everybody's goals are different. Maybe they're not as far-fetched. I don't know. I'm just hoping we'll win the lottery. 1.2 billion, guys. I don't need even... Jordan said, I'll win it, Mom, and I'll give you a little piece. I go, but I need money for my business, too. Can that be separate? I got it, yeah. So, woohoo. We'll see what happens. Jordan, way luckier than I am. That's all I gotta say. I mean, as you can tell by most of my batters and things on here, how they turn out. So, I hope this isn't as sweet as it's been tasting. I'm hoping once it cooks up and the sugars dissolve a little better. Because I think that's part of my problem is my Moreno sugar is kind of overpowering, and maybe I didn't need to use as much. It's keeping it more in a chewier state, I believe. Which I don't have a problem with if I knew that that's what was happening. But really, based on everything that I've changed, I should just change one thing at a time. But I think, oh, I've got this. I do believe from now on that the toasting of the flour is awesome. And it's super easy. And I would do it for other flours too. I don't know that toasting all-purpose will do much good, but like an almond flour, pecan flour, they have all those kinds of nut flours. Those would be delicious, toasted, if you're not allergic, of course. Me, just the peanuts. I can have all the other nuts, but they have to be made in a factory without peanuts, so that's why I get mine from Trader Joe's. Oh, goodness. It's gonna... I know it's gonna plop right on the cookie thingy. Is what I was worried about anyway. This is a fun way to cook like just your regular cookies too, because it'll give them nice density. Oh, my density. Okay. Okay, guys. I'm gonna put them in. I'm gonna put them for 25 minutes. I'll see where we're at. I'll come back in. I'll check with you guys. I'll tell you how it's going. And then at the end, I'm going to do like I've been doing for the last couple weeks, which is post end results on Facebook and Instagram. So if you follow me on Facebook, it's at Kristen Haas, KristinHass. And if you follow me on Instagram and YouTube, you follow me at The Best Blessed Life. So look on there later on today or tomorrow, depending on how long it takes me to come up with some concoction for things. And I'll show you what I do with the brownies. Okay? So we're putting our... I don't remember my last oven having such big gaps in the wire where my muffin... Anyway, I'll get there. We're going to go 25 minutes. I'm going to put you all on pause. I'm going to get cleaned up. Hopefully this torture will be over soon. Because I think I'm past an hour. We're pretty close. Wish me luck, guys. Alright, guys. Well, let me put my microphone back on. I don't think I need to wait the 25 minutes. I'll just say it's an oily, puddly mess. And I have no idea why. So I don't know where to go from here except to say, I guess let me just show you what the epic fail looks like today. I guess mini pans aren't great either because it's just not, I don't know what it is, what it's about, but here's what we're dealing with. I can't even tip them. They're oily and runny. I know the other pan looks a little better, but not much. So I'm putting them back in. I think I'm going to end the episode here just because I want to see what I can do with them. I want to get them off to people to try. There definitely will not be a part 3. I just think Jordan's right and they're not made to be healthy, or I'm doing something epically wrong and don't know what it is. I've increased things, reduced things, and we end up with the same result. I think my coconut oil that I bought, because it was refined naturally as opposed to unrefined, is one of my biggest dilemmas that I'm coming across, and I thought adding the butter might help, but I'm going to keep a positive spin on this and say I've learned more today and I'm going to grow from this experience. And again, sorry this takes so long for me to learn, but at least you guys are along for the ride and I appreciate you hanging out with me today. I hope you had a little bit of fun. They smell amazing. And I guess with that, all I have to say is please have a good day. Go do great things. Be your best self, and please live your best blessed life. Thanks for watching. Bye.